Hey everybody, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and I've been cruising on Royal Caribbean for quite a few years now. No, I'm not that old yet, but I've walked around the Royal Promenade once or twice, and it's natural when you're new to Royal Caribbean to want to learn all the tips, secrets, and hints that you can so that your Royal Caribbean cruise experience can be the absolute best. These tried and true strategies are something many Royal Caribbean fans have come to learn after taking many cruises over the years. I've certainly come up with my own list of tips and tricks that I've learned from other cruising experts who have collectively cruised for way more than I ever could. If you're new to Royal Caribbean, here are some tips and must-dos that Royal Caribbean pros know about taking a cruise, and you should too. First up, you want to sign up for Royal Caribbean's Crown and Anchor Society. This may not seem like much of a secret, but the truth is, guests that have cruised time and time again with Royal Caribbean embrace Royal Caribbean's customer loyalty program known as Crown and Anchor Society. Essentially, Crown and Anchor Society rewards guests for taking multiple Royal Caribbean cruises with special discounts on board, priority embarkation and check-in, offers on upcoming cruises, and even exclusive events. There's no cost to join Crown and Anchor Society, and the discounts you receive on board alone are worth signing up for. Next, you want to arrive to your cruise port very early. Your Royal Caribbean cruise may not depart your port on day one until sometime in the afternoon or evening, but Royal Caribbean pros always show up early for two good reasons. First, the earlier you arrive means the earlier your vacation begins. Whether you arrive at the port at 11 a.m. or 2 p.m. on our vacation day, the price you pay does not change, so you may as well show up earlier to get more time from your cruise. And second, by arriving early, you will avoid the longer lines at embarkation that typically occur on embarkation day when a majority of guests show up in the afternoon. Arriving in the morning allows you to get through security and check-in with less wait. If you're wondering what constitutes early, usually this infers any time before the noon hour. Depending on your cruise, embarkation port, and other factors, the check-in process can begin as early as about 10 a.m. or so. Speaking of being early, booking specialty dining in advance is a really good idea. These days, Royal Caribbean ships offer some amazing specialty dining options, and if you want to ensure there's a table waiting for you, then you ought to book something before you set foot on board. Royal Caribbean allows guests to make reservations for its specialty restaurants online via its cruise planner site. By making reservations online, you will guarantee yourself not just a table, but the day and time that fits your schedule exactly. This is especially important on formal nights or holidays when many other guests wish to do something special and usually opt for a specialty restaurant. As far as booking cruises, Royal Caribbean veterans know the key to getting a good deal on a cruise, and the perfect stateroom as well, is to book as far in advance as possible. Royal Caribbean pros will tell you the best way to get a good deal on a cruise is to book as early as you can, ideally years in advance. By booking early, you will often find the best rates available because cruise fares operate on a supply and demand basis. The less supply there is, like the amount of staterooms available to book, the higher the prices. So by booking 1 or 2 years early, you'll often find the best rates. If you ever strike up a conversation with a Royal Caribbean pro, ask them when they booked their cruise because often the answer is measured in years. A related tip is not when you book your cruise, but when you actually take the cruise. If you're wondering if there's an ideal time to book a cruise for the best price, it's not so much about when you book as when you want to actually cruise. While there are many times a year that can offer deeper savings than others, like maybe Cyber Monday, finding the lowest fares has more to do with when you're actually going on your cruise. So booking early is important, like we just said, but also when you actually take your cruise. In general, you will find lower fares if you're willing to cruise during the shoulder seasons and or when school is usually in session. This includes the month of January minus the New Year's holiday, most of February, the month of May, the month of September, the month of October, the first 2 weeks of November, and the first 2 weeks of December. Picking Royal Caribbean cruises that sail during these times of year often net the lowest fares because it's when less people have the opportunity or inclination to go on a cruise. Here's another big tip that I love to share. Read old cruise compasses to know what to expect. So you just pick the perfect Royal Caribbean cruise for you and your family. It sounds like it'll be a blast, but you might be wondering what events, activities, and specials may be offered on your cruise. There's no way to know in absolute terms what your upcoming Royal Caribbean cruise will or will not offer, but Royal Caribbean pros will consult a previous cruise compass to see what was available on those similar sailings to get a ballpark idea of what to expect. Generally speaking, Royal Caribbean sailings on a particular ship do not change that much from week to week in terms of the activities or entertainment offered. There will be some discrepancies, but an old cruise compass can give you a pretty good expectation of things to plan around. By reading an old cruise compass, you can prepare yourself for activities and events that you might want to participate in, such as themed dance parties, sporting events, and anything in between. Now, if you're wondering where do you find an old cruise compass, we have an archive of them at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Something Royal Caribbean pros really love doing is taking Royal Caribbean cruises on the quote-unquote smaller ships. These days, any Royal Caribbean commercial you see on television probably shows off the amazing things on its newest and biggest cruise ships, and they are really, really awesome and fun and amazing and stunning. But Royal Caribbean veterans know that it's just as fun and important to consider the smaller ships in the fleet. Royal Caribbean has a fleet of around 25 or so ships, depending on the time of year you're listening to this video, and they come in all shapes and sizes. While the larger ships gain the lion's share of attention, many veterans will tell you the virtues of the smaller ships in the fleet. Radiance, Vision, Sovereign, and even Voyager-class ships all offer some amazing experiences that cannot be matched on the larger ships. These smaller ships can get you to ports of call that larger ships cannot access, as well as offer a more intimate experience in relationship with your fellow guests. Not to mention, these smaller ships also come with a lower price tag. There's absolutely nothing wrong with sailing on an Oasis or Quantum class ship, but consider every class in the fleet for your next Royal Caribbean cruise because Royal Caribbean superfans love them all. Next up, use a travel agent. Whether this is your first cruise or you've cruised a ton, I always recommend using a travel agent. Simply put, travel agents work to make your vacation planning easier on you, and they are paid by the cruise line, not you, for your business. You literally have nothing to lose by using a good travel agent. For first-time cruisers, a good travel agent is defined as someone who is a great resource of information on Royal Caribbean in general. Moreover, they can answer the kind of personal questions that no blog post or YouTube video can really tackle. Often, many first-time cruisers have questions about their particular circumstances, and a good travel agent can leverage their own experience to provide the right answer for you. In addition, travel agents are knowledgeable about the many discounts and offers available by Royal Caribbean. If there are pricing questions or changes to be made to your reservation, they are the ones that call Royal Caribbean and sort out the details for you. That frees you up to do something more interesting and fun, like watch awesome YouTube videos about Royal Caribbean. Essentially, a travel agent is your advocate for any concerns you may have, including when you're on the ship. All too often, new cruisers try to do it all themselves because they can, and it leads to time and effort that could have been saved by using a travel agent. When considering which travel agent to use, ensure you pick one that is deeply knowledgeable about Royal Caribbean and does not charge any fees to you for any changes you make to your reservation. Talk to them before even committing to book with them and ask questions about your experience and level of service they provide so you can feel comfortable in how they will work for you. And my last tip is something you're actually doing right now, which is learn from others. Let's face it, no one knows it all, and that's why veteran cruisers often look for ways to congregate online and sharing their experiences. The internet is perfect for sharing our collective Royal Caribbean knowledge, and there are some great resources you should consider when looking to learn more about Royal Caribbean. At the risk of sounding self-serving, of course, RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com offers more than just blog posts as a means of helping others have a better cruise. We have message boards, you can listen to our podcast, chat with us on Facebook Live or Periscope for some easy and fun ways to learn more about Royal Caribbean. In addition, other places like Facebook have become a wealth of Royal Caribbean information, and there are a lot of great Facebook groups that you might consider joining. We would also be remiss if we didn't mention the Cruise Critic message boards as another great online resource of Royal Caribbean information. So hopefully that will help you in planning an amazing Royal Caribbean cruise. I hope you'll let us know in the comments what your tips are and the sort of tricks you come up with in going on a cruise because our viewers would love to read about them. Thanks for watching. This is